time to get rid of adjustable rate home equity loans, too. Don't wait for a low fixed rate that will never go up. Call the Money Store right now. 1-800-LOAN-YES, the Money Store, where America goes for money.
Crime or consent? When is it rape? On the next Maury.
Hi, everybody. I'm Faith Daniels. By now, most everyone has heard of Leona Helmsley and her well-publicized problems with the IRS. I want you to take a look at this. This is Don Ellen Hall, Leona's Connecticut estate. And this is the Federal Medical Center, the prison in Lexington, Kentucky, that Leona is expected to enter on April 15th to serve her 4-year sentence. Some people have no sympathy at all for Leona, while others are wondering whether she really belongs behind bars.
Give us some rope! Give us some rope!
She's 71. She's given millions to charity. Her husband's gravely ill, and she's on her way to prison.
Rich, poor, middle class, we have to pay taxes. That's the end of it. And she did get what she deserved.
What she got was a 4-year sentence for tax evasion. She wrote off almost $2 million to her business for renovations to her Connecticut estate, and not a lot of people are sympathetic. Her lavish lifestyle with billionaire husband Harry and her distinctive personality don't seem to have left Leona with an awful lot of fans.
Just because they own 3/4 of Manhattan and they have no right to evade taxes. They got to pay like everybody else.
The judge has ordered her to begin serving her 4-year tax evasion sentence, ironically, on April 15th, tax day. Husband Harry was found too sick to stand trial, so Leona was charged alone. But some say her crimes are really nothing new for the rich.
Everybody is doing it. It's the way the game's been played here for a long time. She just got caught. Nixon got caught. Leona got caught.
And the press had a field day. Rhymes with rich, dethroned. And Spy magazine dubbed her one of the most annoying, alarming, and appalling people, places, and things of 1988. Her character was attacked in court. A former housekeeper testified she once heard Leona say, "We don't pay taxes, only the little people pay taxes." But others think Leona has paid the price, and the woman who's been called the Queen of Mean is being used as an example.
I think her character has already been assassinated, and she's really been punished a good deal already.
I will not go to jail. I will be with Harry.
What do you mean?
I promised him I did nothing to go to jail.
After that interview, Leona lost her last attempt to stay out of prison. With me now is Victor Calico, who worked in Leona Helmsley's hotels and was fired not once, not twice, but 5 times?
5 times, maybe 6.
Maybe?
Yeah, it was so many times I lost count.
How does one get fired that often?
Actually, a few of the firings were done in her name, but she actually never fired me, was never even aware I was fired. One time I was fired, she had come off the elevator and saw a cigarette butt on the floor. And she asked the manager, "Why is that cigarette butt on the floor?" I was working behind the information desk, and he said, "Victor, pick up that cigarette butt." I said, normally I would, even though the union doesn't allow me to do a job outside my job description.
Oh, there's a union that covers cigarette butts?
Yeah. But I told him normally I would, but you're standing right next to it. It'll be easier for you to pick it up. So Leona looked at him, he looked at her, he picked up the butt, threw it in the ashtray, and I was fired for that. Me and the porter were both fired for that cigarette butt being on the floor. The manager said she fired me, but there's no way she even knew I was fired. Of course, the union put me back on the job 2 days later with back pay. But the funny thing is right after that incident, I walked to the newspaper stand to mail a letter for a guest, and Leona and Harry were getting into their car. And it was a new chauffeur that day. It was his first day on the job. He accidentally slammed the door on Harry's leg. So the next day, it was all over the hotel. You could slam a door on Harry's leg, nothing happens, but if you throw a cigarette on the floor, you're fired. And so she got a lot of bad raps. A lot of people were fired in her name.
You don't seem to be bitter at all about these firings.
No. I have never had a problem working with her. I was there from like 1980 up to 1985.
How closely did you work with her?
I saw her every day. I used to work up in the dining room for a while, so I would feed her a couple of times a day. Then I was promoted after one of my firings to the mail and information desk, and I would handle her mail for her, and I'd see her every morning. She'd say good morning to me and Doris. You know, she was a very nice lady.
We have actually a picture that you brought in today of you at A party for Harry.
Yeah, that's one of the I'm Just
That's
Wild.
you in the background there.
Yeah, on the right, and that's Leona and Harry. And that's just the I'm Just Wild About Harry party. She'd have them every year. Frank Sinatra would come, Gregory Peck, all kinds of celebrities, ones that I didn't see at her trial. You know, maybe if they would have showed up, the outcome might have been a little different. She had a little more support.
Really, her employees were part of her undoing. Of the 44 people who testified against her, most of them were employees or former employees.
Out of that 44, just in the Park Lane Hotel, there are 400 employees. That's less than 10% of one of her hotels. So if there's 40 people that have bad things to say about her, there are thousands who have good things to say about her.
Did you testify?
I was never asked to. I didn't think that my personal opinion of her should have any effect on the trial, and obviously it did. I think one of the most damaging statements is that she supposedly has said only little people pay taxes. I think that's so out of character for her to say something like that. Every year for Christmas, she would throw us Christmas parties for all the employees in the hotel. All the food, all the liquor we wanted, we had the ballroom for the night. We were allowed to bring guests. She'd come down to every Christmas party and she'd dance with dishwashers. She don't care if you're black, white, a porter, a dishwasher. You worked for her, you did your job, she loved you. She would ask the employees about their families, are they having a happy Christmas? She spent a lot of time.
This isn't the lady we've been reading about, Victor. You realize that?
It's all one side. Everything is one-sided. I was contacted by the people doing the Queen of Mean book. I told them basically what I'm telling you. Nothing what I'm saying now has ever appeared in any book. Talk shows wouldn't even want me on because I wouldn't say anything bad about her. So I think that only one side of the story is being told, and I think that one side is extremely exaggerated.
Do you think that she should go to jail?
No way, no way. I think jail is not supposed to be to punish. It's there to rehabilitate people. It's there for justice to be served. By her going to jail is not justice being served. I think that New York City is in great financial problems. I'd like to see her fines be heavier and her jail fine and her jail time less. Should be none.
All right, we're going to take a break here. And when we come back, we will meet the guy who did the first interview with Leona after her conviction and has talked to her very recently.
On a recent Tuesday morning, the toaster in the Davis household took over the Eggo waffles. Just a bizarre toaster malfunction? Or could that crisp Eggo taste be so irresistible that even the toaster won't let go?
They go my Eggo.
Maybe it finally wised up. Maybe it realized what a great taste it was giving up all these years. Or maybe
I got a good deal on a trick toaster.
Eggo waffles taste too good to let go.
Static can make your skirt do the twist.
It'll stop you.
Static can make your hair take off.
It'll stop you.
And Static can leave you hanging.
It'll stop you. Yeah.
The more you move, the more static can build up. But you can stop static cling with Bounce. Bounce leaves clothes virtually static-free.
It won't stop you.
Bounce stops static before static stops you.
Here's the answer to your tax headaches. The VO5 sweepstakes will pay $19.91 personal federal income taxes for 100 winners. Details on VO5 shampoo and conditioner bottles and displays. Make tax time painless with Alberto VO5.
You can go skinny.
Cool Whip Light Whip Topping. The luscious taste of whipped cream with 1/2 the fat and only 8 calories per serving.
Cool Whip Light.
She's a woman you'll love to hate.
L.B. Gardner. L is for Lausanne. I don't know what B is for.
Award winner Lynn Herring joins Days of Our Lives, NBC Daytime.
I'm a strong woman because I have to be. Do you know it's a great luxury to cry? I don't have that luxury. I've been alone this whole situation.
We are back now, and we are joined by Glenn Plaskin. He is a columnist for the New York Daily News who spent a lot of time talking to Leona after her conviction. Please welcome him. Glenn, how recently have you spoken with Leona Helmsley?
Just a few days ago.
Yeah, and how did she sound to you?
Well, she's in shock, she's sad, she's angry, she's going through all those phases that anyone goes through when a great tragedy occurs, I think. She's also perhaps in a little bit of denial, protecting herself from what seems like the inevitable, which is going to jail on April 15th.
Her attorney maintains that going to jail is going to kill both her and Harry.
I hope not. She's a very strong woman. When the 3 years that I've known her, she works out every day, she eats right, she took all those hotels and gave them all new menus that are very health conscious. So I hope she isn't going to get any sicker than she is. Her husband is quite frail.
She maintains that she is innocent. Do you believe her?
I don't know. I'm not even sure that's the question. The first time I interviewed her, she was very, very persuasive. She said that she was framed by the government. She was framed by employees, that her tax return would fill an entire room. How could she possibly keep track of a business that has $100 million coming in monthly? Why would she cheat on $1 million worth of taxes? It makes no sense. It just makes no sense.
Do you think that she's being made a scapegoat?
I do. I think that the Queen campaign for the hotel partly did her in. Look, she's a very strong woman. No one's going to say she's a little angel. Her own lawyer called her a tough bitch. Victor's right. She can be very...
Which is an interesting defense strategy, eh?
Well, I don't think it worked. I also think that he made a mistake. She should have gone on the stand and defended herself. But look, the woman is paid a $25 million bail, an $8 million fine. She's lost her reputation. She's lost her friends. Her husband has had so many strokes because of this. She's been punished more than anyone can imagine. I don't see what point it would serve to send her to jail.
What do you think should happen to her at this point?
Well, she suffered for 5 years. She's been publicly humiliated. You have to remember, this couple has paid $600 million in taxes. That's a lot more than I ever paid.
Wouldn't you like the opportunity to pay that much? Huh?
Oh, please. I think they should leave her alone, and if she wants to do community service, let her use her money and her hotel empire to feed the homeless.
All right, let me introduce you to someone else here. My next guest is a reporter from Money magazine, and she says that the crime Leona Helmsley was convicted of is a serious one. Liz McDonald, how serious?
It's quite serious. In fact, people who are convicted of this crime either face a stiff penalty of 75% of the underpayment that's due to the fraud, or they face a jail sentence. And the IRS is cracking down more than ever before on people who commit such fraud.
Typically, do those people end up going to jail?
No, and those are due to lax sentencing guidelines that were in place before 1988. When the new sentencing guidelines came through, more people will go to jail now than ever before.
How does the IRS even keep track of something like this?
Well, they've got
did the rich fill out 1040s?
Yeah, they do, and she happens to fall into that class of income that happens to cheat the most. She's a Schedule C filer. She's up in the wealthy tier of people, and the IRS did a great job in cross-checking the billions of documents that fly through the system. And they caught her on the documents that just didn't follow through in how she owed the taxes and what she in fact did owe the government.
Do you think she should go to jail for her crime?
Yes, I do. I absolutely do. There's not a week that goes by that I don't hear about a taxpayer who is getting their home seized just because they made some minor mistake on their return. Leona Helmsley will only have to spend a year in jail at the least. And it happens to be not that bad of a deal since she's going to come out with most of her wealth intact. These people are destitute that I've been talking to.
All right, let me get to this commercial break, and we'll come back and talk in just a moment.
EPT.
That's you.
The most trusted name in home pregnancy test is fast and easy to read. A simple stick test that tells in just minutes whether you're going to have a baby or not.
But baby.
EPT, the fast, easy way to get the big news.
Cool.
Salon style reinvented. Now from Helene Curtis, Salon Selective's new moisturizing styling products and bodifying styling products.
Choose to be your most beautiful, salon beautiful.
Choose bodifying to add volume, moisturizing to replenish. Now you have even more personalized gels and mousses, spritzes and sprays to feel like you just stepped out of a salon.
Choose to be your most beautiful.
I love spring. It's warm, the sun's out.
My kids couldn't wait to get out of the house. Last week I bought them these Play School Sandworks, super sand toys. They each had to have their own. Anyway, they're having so much fun they're too busy to fight.
Well, Kenny ran out with his Play School bubble plane. It blows bigger bubbles than he ever could with those little wands. And we got Erica that Play School 1, 2, 3 bike, and she whizzed through the 3 stages. Now we have a 2-year-old on a 2-wheeler.
That's great.
Which diaper is more customized for your infant daughter? This diaper that's pale, pale pink. Or this adorable Love's diaper, custom made as cute as your little girl. Love's Phases, custom made for leaks.
Hot coffee and steak in front of strangers at 30,000 feet? Not with my old adhesive.
Fix-It holds stronger than any other adhesive. It even stands up to the hottest liquids.
Now I fix it and forget it.
And we're back once again. Do you have a question?
I have a comment. That I just feel that whether rich or poor, if they break the law, they should pay the penalty of whatever is decided on their case.
4 years is the appropriate amount of time?
Probably initially, but I'm sure like many others, there will be a change in that.
Yeah, who else applauded that? Who? Who else said yes, go to jail? Yeah? You did? Did you applaud yes? Why do you think she should go? Stand up, please.
I agree with the other lady that she broke a law and she needs to pay for it. The little person would have to.
Is there anybody here who thinks she shouldn't? Yeah? All on the other side of the studio. Gosh, can I climb through? Let me try this. Let me see. I saw your hand up here first. Thank you for making room for me. All right, why do you think she should not go to jail?
First, I have a question. How long has this been going on? You said 5 years?
No, wait a minute. First, I had a question. Why do you think she shouldn't go to jail?
Well, because depending on how long it's been going on, okay, there's a physical incarceration, okay, send her to jail. But there's also a mental incarceration. I think she's been incarcerated for these last 5 years. I don't think she should go to jail. You can physically look at her husband. What more anguish and pain can you cause to this woman? I mean, it should be over.
Okay, now your question.
No, I was asking her, you know, has this been going on for 5 years, the court cases and the lawyers and all that?
Well, the investigation started in 1986, and she, in fact, was the reason for her own undoing. I agree with part of your answer, but I disagree with the most part of what you're saying. If you have such elastic standards legally, that invites lawlessness into the system, and voluntary compliance in this country will plummet. You cannot have elastic standards, as what you're saying, for people who make more money than most of us do. The odds have it that some people within this audience, or even sitting up here, will be investigated by the IRS or by the state tax departments more than the wealthy would be. So, and even, in fact, 5 members of the jury that convicted her have been investigated by the IRS. So the odds will have it that you might have to be facing a letter or a notice from the IRS saying that you owe more money.
But her character has come into such play here.
However, that didn't come into the decision to convict. When you read the jurors' testimony and the reasons why they convicted, they just stuck to the hard legal facts of the matter. And what she did was so mind-boggling that they couldn't convict or come up with another decision. There was just no way.
You have a question?
Yes, I believe, actually comment, I believe that Leona Helmsley is going to jail more for the fact that she's rich in the spotlight and has been perceived as being almost a bitch, more than the fact that she has done some illegal activities. I remember a congressman in New York, actually Mario Biaggi, got out of jail because of his health, and it's been indicated that Leona Helmsley's health would be greatly endangered, as well as her husband. I think that the people are almost taking out the recession and poor economic times on Leona Helmsley, who has enjoyed much economic prosperity.
You know, you hear such outlandish stories. We'll get into one of them. Have you heard the one about the shrimp at the edge of the lap pole? We'll find out from Victor about that in a moment.
Friends and family will give you a discount on those calls that you make most frequently.
114 years of phone service, and no one else thought of this idea.
You get an additional 20% off anytime you call your friends and family circle.
Anyone could have, but they didn't.
Friends and family is 24 hours a day, 8 days a week.
Makes us proud. Not only were we the first with the idea, MCI is still the only one with it. Call and join Friends and Family now and get a 40% bonus savings on all your Friends and Family calls in May.
You know how when you smell certain smells, they bring back all these childhood memories? Well, I opened this can of Play-Doh for Nikki. I got one whiff of that scent and remembered how much I loved mushing Play-Doh in my hands. And now Play School makes Play-Doh even better. It feels smoother.
Looks like a snowman.
Oh, and Nikki's into it, too. I got him the Fun Factory set. He loves squishing the dough out.
I'm making spaghetti.
I can't imagine childhood without it.
Sure, these frozen yogurts appeal to my healthy side, but I'm looking for pure taste. Breyers first. Ripe strawberries. So refreshing. I forget I'm eating healthy. My taste buds are crying out. Yes! Yes! No! No!
All natural Breyers frozen yogurt. So real, you can taste it.
Everything was perfect until she showed up.
I'm your wife.
Now they're both fighting for their man.
I'm gonna make him love me again.
Don't let the past come between us.
But one of them
She would do anything to get her claws in him.
isn't fighting fair.
The only way to overcome temptation is to yield to it.
Days of Our Lives, NBC Daytime.
For years, people have been eating raisins they thought were plump and moist.
Kids, raisin time. Oh, goody. Gee, Mom, these raisins sure are good. Yeah.
Wait a minute, kids. People are now discovering Dole raisins, which are plumper and moister than the leading brand.
Wow, those are raisins. Can we have some?
Here you go, kids. Like I was saying, nothing's better than today's Dole raisins.
Who is Rael? Now it can be told.
To become a member of our studio audience, write for free tickets. A Closer Look tickets. P.O. Box 4682, New York, New York 10185. Or call 212-664-5482.
And we're back once again. I happen to think that one of the most outlandish stories I have heard is the one that appears in a book about her where Leona is said to have done laps in her indoor swimming pool with a waiter standing at the end of the pool feeding her shrimp while she says, "Feed the fishy." Victor?
Yeah, that was only done a couple of times. It was... when I was asked to be a butler at the I'm Just Wild About Harry parties, before the party started, I worked in her apartment, and the captain asked me to stand at the edge of the pool with a platter of shrimps when she did her laps, and I would bend down each lap and offer her a shrimp. And the point of the story was, on one of the laps, she caught me stuffing shrimp in my mouth and just asked me, "How are they?" I said, "Good," but I wasn't fired for it at all. The story came out in Newsweek that she would get in the middle of the pool and go, "Feed the fishy," and I would toss her the shrimps. Now, this is in Newsweek, a reputable magazine. It was me. I know that never happened. So this shows you how exaggerated.
Yeah, Victor, I'll give you that it's exaggerated, but I'm not quite sure I understand what the point is of eating shrimp while you're doing laps anyway.
Maybe the captain wanted a promotion and wanted to do something extra nice for her. I don't know.
All right, you have a question here.
I only wish I had that money to be that eccentric, actually. I wanted to ask Glenn, however, the judicial system is not perfect. We all know that. However, she was convicted under the laws of this land. She was found and given jail time. What makes her so special? If I went through six years of tax returns in courts, my health would be bad too. Would anybody be standing here saying, "Don't send this man to jail"?
My understanding is that first-time offenders don't always go to jail, and certainly if it was you, you wouldn't have been crucified and you wouldn't have lost your business and you wouldn't have been on the cover of magazines for the last 5 years and it been a total public spectacle and humiliation. I think she really has, and she also has paid back all the money and more that she owed. I don't know what else you can ask.
Yeah. Liz, you should know better than anyone that Leona Helmsley doesn't sit down and fill out her 10W-40s or her 1099s for investments and whatever else. This is her accountants doing their job. This is the judge who's got a bug about Leona Helmsley being a bitch, and if that's against the law, then half of New York and half of the Midwest and half of this country is going to go to jail. And this woman is paid back 8 times what she evaded. Now, you were saying earlier that it was 75% is usually the typical fine, as well as a jail time. I think she has, if nothing else, fine her more. But don't endanger her health and her husband's health.
Well, that's a good question, but you're missing the point. She did sign invoices. There were fingerprints all over the invoices that she signed, and the method that she did to evade the taxes was really so overwhelming that, as I said, the jury had no other recourse but to convict. If I could explain just for 1 second what she did do. She had a $210,000 jade water buffalo that suddenly became a card table at the Park Lane Hotel. She approved that. She also had in place a $130,000 stereo system for Dunellen Estate up in Greenwich, Connecticut. That became a security system for the Helmsley building. She approved that. So she knew what she was doing. I don't buy the fact that she didn't, everything was out of her hands, her accountants knew. If you look at Leona Helmsley and read anything about her, she is into every part of her business affairs. So,
you have a question here?
Yeah, I have a comment. I think she should be treated with equal justice under the law. I think this whole case is really symptomatic of what's going on in the world and in the United States in particular. Our society is really a reflection of ourselves, and I think this is a case because she's rich, and it's drawn a lot of media attention, but I think she should be treated equally in the law, and I think she should serve the example of even if she spends 1 day in jail, I think that should serve notice to everyone who breaks the law.
All right, let me head to this commercial break, and we'll be back and continue in a moment.
It's a piece of America. It's Hershey's. It's all right.
When you consider it takes 34 different muscles just to frown, isn't it nice to know it only takes 1 Hershey bar to make you smile? So have a Hershey bar and be happy.
It's a piece of America. It's Hershey's. It's all right.
It's the Great American Chocolate Bar.
Hi! I've asked a few of my friends here to tell us which tea they like better. The nice, normal, square kind, or the radical new Tetley round tea bag.
The round one.
Oh, take your time, folks.
The round one.
Don't be afraid to be honest.
Round.
So what if y'all like it better? That still don't answer the question. Why is it round? Stop staring at me.
Smile, because kids can get their pictures taken for free with Crayola Bunny at the Hallmark Easter Open House this Saturday. Come on in, because there's plenty for everybody to smile about. See you at Hallmark.
Joy Schaefer's Easy Look number 14. Apply Dep Extra Super Hold and curl up. Dep Styling Gels for the Easy Look.
I very much experienced the hand of
Meet the
Lord.
soap star who survived a fatal flight and a woman who fell 10,000 feet to earth and lived, escaping death on the next A Closer Look.
An all-new Danielle Steele blockbuster comes to NBC. A scandalous behind-the-scenes look at the forbidden side of Hollywood. Danielle Steele's Secrets, NBC Monday.
That's all we have time for today. As it stands now, Leona Helmsley goes to prison on April 15th. However, she continues to appeal her case. Our thanks to everybody for joining us today. See you next time.
The return of Eyewitness Video, NBC Sunday.
I know about pain. And knowing that aloe vera-based Flexol is the pain-relieving gel recommended by the trainers in all major pro sports tells me it's the best. If you're living with pain, you need to know about Flexol, the pain relief pro trainers recommend.
You don't need the discomfort of your period, but Tylenol, Advil, or Midol 200 only leave pain behind. You still may have tension and water gain, so do it right. Take Pamprin. It relieves pain, tension, and water weight gain. Pamprin, period relief, not just pain relief.
Dial a Mattress USA. Dial 1-800-MATTRES 24 hours a day. We deliver anywhere in the U.S. with express 2-hour delivery and 60% off department store prices on these name brands. Sealy Posturepedic, Serta Perfect Sleeper, and Simmons Beauty Rest.
Shopping and buying through Dial a Mattress was really, really a pleasant experience.
Dial 1-800-MATTRES and leave off the last S for savings.